First, let me introduce Zuriel Oduwole. Thank you very much for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me.
It's so nice to have you here. Let's take a look at the report I did back in March when I spoke with you. We'll take a look at that report, and when we come back, we'll be talking with Zuriel. Let's have the report now.
Please welcome to the stage Zuriel Oduwole, a proud Nigerian ambassador, taking this nation to places. Please, let's keep it warm until she gets on stage.
Born of African-American parents, Zuriel is only 10 years old. But she displayed the confidence and courage of an adult as she addressed this gathering, which includes state government officials in Lagos, Nigeria, on her latest documentary.
I am of African descent. I know that there are a lot of positive things out there about Africa. So I wanted to showcase some of these positive things in the brief 10-minute documentary.
The documentary is on the formation of the African Union, but this is not her first work. The first, another 10-minute piece, was on the Ghana Revolution, which she made at the age of 9, with former Presidents Jerry Rawlings and John Kufuor as some of her interviewees.
I was very, very nervous for the first time because it was my first time doing it, and I didn't know how to act, how to sit. At first, I was just sitting like this. I said, no, I should do this before the person was coming. And so I was practicing my tones. I was doing la 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 la. But when I started asking the questions, everything turned out okay, and that's when I started enjoying interviewing people.
The enjoyment propelled her to do the latest documentary, which took her 7 months to produce, interviewing 3 serving presidents in the process. Other notable personalities she has interviewed include Africa's richest man, Aliko Dangote, and the Williams sisters. For her parents, Zuriel has been somewhat of a surprise.
I mean, how many 10-year-olds interview current presidents of heads of state, interviews former presidents, interviews the wealthiest businessman in Africa, interviews 2 of arguably the most popular in international tennis players? And you have to be out of your mind not to be surprised. Of course we were surprised, but we're most impressed by how she handles it.
I think I noticed from a young age she had a fantastic memory. She picked things up very quickly. I'm thinking probably from age 2. When we went to enroll her in a school, she was actually 2 years ahead.
Zuriel's memory is indeed fantastic. She told me she remembers everything those she interviewed said, including how they speak, given this example of the Malawian president's accent.
Let's see if I can do it. Because for me to go to Tanzania, it takes me 2 days. To go to Mozambique, it takes me 2 days because I have to go to Africa. And even to Zambia, it takes me 2 days. But all those countries, you can fly there in a private jet only in 1 hour.
What's actually fascinating about Zuriel's story is that she does not have any formal journalism training. Yet, she does the job with the ease of a professional. She told me she plans to retire at the age of 19 to pursue other goals.
And then off this out the way because I'm starting to write my own book. And then an athlete. Oh, maybe I'll become an athlete next so I can compete in the Olympics. I was hoping to do it this year, but after I get a lot of training.
What sports?
Track.
So tell me why
Her ultimate goal, she says, is to become the President of the United States of America.
Well, for one, I want to make a change in the country and across the world. Gas prices and stop terrorism in the country because there's been a lot of that going on.
It's pleasing to see that she has goals, and we will just stand by her and do the best we can to help her in the areas that she pursues to go.
Well, that's the story of Zuriel. As a matter of fact, if you've never met her before, I believe with that story you know everything about her. Zuriel, let me start by asking you. I mean, we saw in that report you said you intend to retire at the age of 19. Currently, you're a journalist. Of course, that's how you describe yourself, and I have no doubt at all that you're a journalist and that you intend to retire at the age of 19. You still plan to retire?
Well, yes, I do plan to retire, so that way when I get older, I can go on and to achieve my other goals.
And then you talking about your other goals now. You talked about becoming an athlete. You still have that plan as well?
Yes, sir, I do have that plan. And actually, I plan on also playing basketball when I get older.
Oh, you want to play basketball as well?
Yes,
oh, good,
sir.
Good. I mean, that's really good. Now, let's talk about the plan. We heard it also in that report where you said you want to be the President of the United States of America. You still have that dream?
Yes, sir. I do still want to be the President of the United States of America because I do believe that I'll be able to affect both the United States and also all the other countries in the world, including Africa.
Now tell us about your latest work, because the last time we spoke, you were working on this documentary. You done with the documentary now?
Yes, sir. I was actually able to finish it early on May of this year, I believe, and I was able to finish it for my competition called the National History Competition, which is a school competition where students from all over the U.S. would come together and present their ideas in documentary form.
Now, let's talk about your project. I know you have this project, which is very important, and you call it the Dream Up, Speak Up, Stand Up project. And you've taken this project to so many countries. What kind of reception have you been getting? You were in Tanzania not quite long ago, and of course you're doing something here in Nigeria. What kind of reception are you getting from these various countries now that you're taking the project to?
Well, everywhere I go, there's always a friendly reception. The kids there are always screaming and always cheering. And also, the last school we went to in Nigeria, they didn't want me to leave because they found it fascinating, the things that I'm doing, and they wanted me to stay longer and talk to them about it.
And you think parents are changing their attitude, society across these various countries now are changing their attitude by sending the girl child to school?
I'm hoping so, yes.
Interesting. Now, let's talk about something else. March, when I spoke to you, you told me you were trying to get President Goodluck Jonathan to talk to. You wanted to interview him. Between March and now, a lot has happened. You've actually exploded. Tell me how you feel, because today you Google the name Zuriel and you have a whole lot of stories on you. How does it make you feel?
Well, it's just an overwhelming experience for me because I started small, and then seeing the things that have happened since when I started when I was 9, it's just an overwhelming experience in total. Let
me just read something here about you, and this is quite surprising. Of course, you're 11-year-old now, but this talks about, it's really about when you were 10. It says, Zuriel's accomplishments include being the first 10-year-old to interview 8 incumbent heads of state. As a matter of fact, as a professional journalist myself, I have never had that privilege to interview 8 incumbent heads of state. You must be very special. Why do you think they want to talk to you?
Well, I really have no idea, but what I do is I send letters to them, and I talk about the issues in the world, and I talk about the issues such as sending the girl child to school, and also helping rebrand Africa, and I talk about those problems in the letters I send to them, and they always come back saying yes, and it's just the grace of God, and I'm just really excited about that.
Of all the interviews you've done, which one would stand out for you? Of all the heads of states you've interviewed, of course, we spoke about the president of Malawi the other time. As a matter of fact, I asked you to actually mimic her accent, and you did very well. But of all the heads of state, I mean, so many of them, which one would stand out for you?
Well, they're all unique in their own ways. Like, for example, my interview with President Jerry Rawlings of Ghana was unique and stand out the most. Well, it didn't stand out the most, but it's unique because he was the first person I ever interviewed, and I was only 9 years old then. And also my interview with President Cape Verde, that was unique as well because we actually have to have an interpreter there because the president spoke his country's language of Portuguese. So I can't pick one over the other because they're all unique in their own ways.
And of course, how is your Mandarin like now? Is it improved tremendously?
Well, it has improved, I'd say so. I've learned more words. I'm also learning how to write characters.
So as a matter of fact, if we take you to China now, you'd be able to communicate with the people there, interact with them in fluent Mandarin?
A bit more, yes, sir.
Oh, tell me now. I mean, we're rounding up. What's in the pipeline for Zuriel? What are your plans? You have projects coming up apart from this project. Do you have plans for some other projects? What is Zuriel looking at doing, say, in the next, 1 to 2 years?
Well, I'm going to be focusing on my agendas, which is to rebrand Africa by interviewing African leaders and showing the rest of the world that there's something special about Africa. And I'm also doing my best to make sure that everyone in Africa gets a chance to have an education.
And of course, not forgetting your dream of becoming the President of the United States of America.
Of course, sir.
Well, we can only wish you the best of luck. And, when you become President, remember us when you become the President of the United States of America. And we wish you all the best of luck. And who knows, tomorrow we might see you on one of these big networks. Some people have described you as Some say you're the Oprah Winfrey of Nigeria. Some have described you as the Oprah Winfrey of the child Oprah Winfrey. Some have described you as Larry King, you know, the next Larry King in the making. You have any plans at all to work for any of the major networks, say CNN and all of that, or you just intend to continue the way you are?
Well, I don't know yet. We'll see what lies in the future.
But you're retiring at the age of 19.
Yes, sir.
That is certain.
Yes.
Quite surprising. Well, thank you very much, Zuriel, for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me, sir.
Thank you so very much. Well, that's Zuriel. She intends to retire at the age of 19. Of course, well, if you ask me, I would say 19 is still a very young age to retire, but then she has other plans. For someone who plans to become an athlete, play basketball, Zuriel wants to do so many things. That's it on the program today. We thank you very much for watching. We'll be back next week. I am Deji Bademasi. See you then.